Then the closing arguments. Okay? Is the prosecution in attendance? Is the defense ready to present? Okay, please call your first witness.
The defense calls Terry Olsen.
And everybody should know this thing.
Put both your hands on the Bible.
Both your no.
Whatever. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Miss Olsen, please tell the court what happened on October 29th, 2004.
Well, it was a Friday, and it was going to be a busy day, like Fridays and weekends usually are. And T-Berry was late, as usual. Her tardiness was getting on my last nerve, and I told her and had given her second chances, actually multiple chances. So that's when I decided this was the day I was going to let her go. She got very snippy at me when I told her that I was firing her. She said that if I were to, she would lose her apartment and live on the street. But I didn't believe her. People say anything to keep their job.
Okay, now what kind of a worker would you say Miss Ferguson was?
She was very inconsistent. I knew she came in late, half an hour on Saturdays. She said it was something to do with her kid. But every other day she came in late. And I had to even sit her down and tell her how important it is to be on time. But she didn't take anything from it and just continued to come in late.
Okay, so please tell the court what happened between you and Terry Jameson on November 20th, 2004.
Well, I was just finishing up inspecting the meat, and I was having coffee with my meat delivery man, Sandy Wilbur, and all of a sudden I saw Therese, and I knew that she wanted to talk about me rehiring her, so I directed her to my back office so we could have a private conversation. There she started talking and asked if I could give her job back. Even if I wanted to, I really couldn't. I run a business and I fired her, so I had to get someone to replace her. So then she started crying and begging for her job back, and I had to show her how inconsistent she was. So I pulled out the calendar and showed. After our conversation was over, she asked if she could leave through the back so Sandy wouldn't see her crying.
Can you tell us a little bit about Miss Jameson's child, Danny?
Yeah, he's very frightening, and he seems like a wild kid, so I usually keep my distance away from him. The day that I actually fired Miss Jameson, he gave me some threatening remarks, and after I saw him around town a few times, and he said I would have to pay for what I've done to him and his family. So he was actually there the day that his mother came and wanted to see what, and he was demanding to know where his mother was, and he startled me. Like, I couldn't do anything but keep the conversation short. I was scared if he was going to threaten or attack me. So I told him that I didn't know where his mother was, and she left, and she didn't tell me where she was going, and then I went back inside.
Who exactly is Big Dog?
Well, he's the son of a darling Miss Jane Wade, and she's a poor person that lives in the apartment complexes that I own, and I sometimes help her with her financial problems as well as other people. But I was very surprised that she would have a son like Big Dog, because he's a member of a gang, and they can be a little rowdy. But one thing I am grateful for is that he kept the streets around my cafe clean of homeless people, and that made my customers safe. And if my customers are safe and happy, then I am. But sometimes they take it a little too far.
What happened when Officer Motes came to the cafe?
Well, he was looking for Teresa, and I didn't know where she was, and he was wondering if I knew anything of her whereabouts. I told him that she left after we had our conversation through the back, and she didn't tell me where she was going. So then he looked out back to see if he could figure out if he could trace any of her whereabouts. And then he called me back outside, and he had me go into the dumpster and look and to confirm that the dead body in there was Teresa Jameson. It was very tragic.
Why were your fingerprints on the alleged lethal weapon and killing tool of Miss Jameson?
Well, at first I didn't think I had any contact with the brick, but then after a second time I was talking to Officer Motes, I realized that I did throw away the brick that day. See, my building's deteriorating and sometimes bricks will fall. So every few days when they fall, I throw them away in the dumpster. I mean, how could I remember that I threw away the brick if I didn't even remember to throw away the trash that day? Danny startled me, and the news of Truth Stevenson was something that that was very tragic. So I guess I really wasn't remembering that day.
No further questions.